What's happening? What's happening, people? What's going on? What's up with you? What is up with you? I got all the buttons pushed that I was supposed to. So I guess I can run off at the mouth a little bit. What's going on, man? I was going to come down here Wednesday and hang out with you guys. But, man, like I said, there's days where my body just will not let me. Oh, and I forgot my bill. I was going to show you. I'll tell you about it. And I'll show it to you probably on Monday. I'll tell you about it, but I'm going to show it to you on Monday. I forgot my medical bill. I got a medical bill in the mail on Wednesday. I'll tell you about it, and then I will make sure I get that to you so you can see exactly what I'm saying, exactly what I'm talking about. So I don't have to hear from anybody coming up with excuses. Because Lord knows y'all can come up with excuses for anything. Literally anything. Right? Unbelievable. The people who can actually, you know what I want to do? I want to make sure I got this thing up. Because I don't put it up. Because a lot of times, it's funny. When I put it up, nobody says anything. When I don't put it up and then I go log off this thing pops up with everybody got, with comments and all this here type of stuff. It happens every single time. Now, I got it up. I'm not going to hear from anybody. Now, the day I don't put it up, boom, I'm done. There's like 30 people talking. And I'm sitting there going, shoot, I didn't get a chance to answer anything that was said. But anyway, what's going on? What's happening, people? What's happening? Nice day. Oh, my God, it was a nice day outside. I mean, I was still all bundled up because I'm colder. I'm colder than the normal person, right? People are, why you got to? Because even though I'm in my house, but I'm downstairs. And I was downstairs for some reason. I don't know why. Even though all events and everything's are open, my downstairs just feel like it's freezing sometime, right? So, but anyway, I had a really, really good week. I had an awesome meeting with Representative Peggy Barnett. She's running for governor for the state of Minnesota. And she gets it. She gets it. The thing, here's the thing though. There are a few Republicans that gets it. But there's nothing that they can do. Because it's just like Paul Novotny. Representative Paul Novotny is not seeking re-election again. Even though Representative Paul Novotny gets it, and there was nothing that he could actually do, he is the type of he's the type of Republican here in Minnesota that the Republican Party should beg him to stay. Should beg him to say, you know what? We're going to listen to you, Paul. We're going to do some of the things that we see that you are doing. We're going to work with some of the people that you work with. Paul Novotny is what the Republican Party need. The problem with that is the Republican Party don't see that. The problem with that is the Republican Party don't understand that. They would rather take these two knuckleheads that they got in their party. That's who should be leaving. To me, I mean, to let people like a Paul Novotny go, or they don't listen to someone like a Representative Peggy Barnett. That's where when I tell you that if the Republicans put the right people in office, and this is what nobody gets it. Nobody wants to get it. Nobody want to understand it. And this is the reason why I say the Republican Party is happy with who and what they are. They don't want to change. They don't want to do anything different. Watch this. Watch this. True story. True story. And I because I just had it out with this person. I call her a bed wench because that's what she is. She's a bed wench. So I get this phone call from this radio personality. Calls me up and says, "Well, would you like to debate someone on reparations?" I'm like, no. First off, I don't debate. I can't debate. And then when he told me who it was a woman. I said, I don't debate women. I just don't. Number one, I can't debate. I mean, flat out, no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, to give somebody a true debate, it's just not me. I've never been able to do it. I've never been able to sit across from someone. And I can have a conversation with you. We can disagree to agree on certain things. But like a debate and that type style, that's just not me. And I've always said that. I know my weakness. And I'm not afraid to say it. I'm just not. Period, point blank. Just not something I do. Well, a few years ago, I get a phone call, and this dude's like from the radio personality. Well, we want you to come debate this black woman. A black woman. Listen to me. True story, man. So they wanted me, a black man, to debate a black woman on a white radio station about reparations. Her thing was black people don't deserve reparations. And they wanted me to debate her on that. I'm like, I'm good. No. And this woman has been mad at me. And she calls herself one of these here so-called token black Republicans. But this bonehead had been mad at me for years because I would not go, no joke, because I would not go on a radio station and do her bidding or do their bidding or give them what they wanted. Would not do it. But I ended up blocking her on Facebook because she tried to come after me on some silly crap. But I say this to say this part. One of the people who made comments about me. Now, I've never said anything about Mary Atlaw. Never. And if for those who don't know who Mary is, Mary puts together the Patriot Tea Party monthly meetings at the place over in Anoka, the golf course over in Anoka. If you don't know who she is, that's who she is. I've never done anything to this woman. I've never said a bad word about her. When I was at the CD5 Republican debate, I'm standing there talking to people who are literally talking about Mary. I didn't say nothing bad about the woman at all. Said nothing. I sat there and I listened to people talking bad about her. And the only thing I was like, wow, okay. I know I understand what you're saying. The reason I stopped going to Mary's meetings, to the Tea Party meetings, to the Tea Party Patriot meetings, because they reminded me of why I left the Tea Party from the get jump. It hadn't changed. It's a Klan rally. It's a bunch of white people in a room, and she give them space to have a rally. Now, hold on now. Wait a second. I have been there on many occasions. Ask her if you ever run into Mary Atlaw. Ask her if Rev has spoken there. Ask her if I have prayed to open up the thing. But what everybody in that room got mad, because like I said, I'm gonna speak my mind, and I'm gonna talk about the things that I know. Watch this. True story. I don't know if some of you probably don't know, but some of you know who Lacey Johnson is. It's a waste of time. Probably one of the biggest wastes of time ever. So Lacey Johnson and I was at the same time. Wasn't planned. We just happened to be there. Lacey Johnson and I was at one of these Tea Party get-togethers, right? And somebody in the room, white person, said, this is when the CRT hype was up here, when everybody was talking about CRT. Well, what people in that room didn't know, and I had already been to many of the schools. I'd already talked to teachers about CRT, and nobody. So Lacey gets up there and does what Lacey does, talks about black people. That's what he does. And everybody in the room was just wet in the pants because this black man was doing exactly what they wanted to hear. And he mentioned CRT. And I got up there right after Lacey Johnson. Because, like I said, again, people in the audience was talking about, yeah, CRT this, yeah, CRT that. I got up right after that, and I asked everybody in that room, name me one place. Name me a school that's teaching CRT, and I will go there. And I named the schools, the people, and the coaches who coaches at these schools that I have sat down and dealt with and talked to them. I named them, everybody. There wasn't one person in that room that could name me a school or any place that was teaching the course of CRT, not one. But yet, everybody in the room was swearing up and down CRT was being taught in rooms. That's what I realized what type deal Mary Atlaw was putting together. Had nothing to do, I thought, here I am thinking, wow, here's a place that Republicans are talking about maybe getting together, maybe opening up the tent, maybe bringing in other people, maybe seeing Minnesota a little different, not just the little white areas, and that's what they want to keep going rah, rah, rah for. That's what I thought this Tea Party was about. Come to find out, I was wrong. So this bedwench who wanted to debate me decided to go on her page, put out false information about me. Literally, that's what she did. And then Mary Atlaw, that I've never done anything about to, never said anything bad about her. I just stopped going to her little Klan rallies that she put together every month. But yet she got something to say about me. This lady, and I say that for this reason, this lady has an opportunity to open up the door to make a broader coalition with the Republican Party. And she's not doing that. That's not what they want. When all of them old white people, and that's usually who's at all her meetings, are old white people, are in that room, they're not in that room saying that they want somebody like me to come in and be a part of what they got going on. That's not what they are in there for. At all. So when I say someone like a Paul Novotny needs to stay in the Republican Party. Paul Novotny, I talked to him. Paul Novotny has been down to North Minneapolis. Paul Novotny has been in the middle of the fray of what's going on. Paul Novotny gets it. The problem is Paul Novotny can't do anything because of the people in the Republican Party. Now, again, I met with Peggy, Representative Peggy, Miss Bennett. And Miss Bennett, to me, has a good heart. Before I even met her, when she was up on that stage, this is the lady that I was telling you guys. when she was on the stage speaking at the Republican convention, not convention, but at the debate. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm a guru in people. Don't get me wrong. But I've been around enough people that I can sit back and go, she's genuine. She's genuine in what she says and how she says things and what she is the real deal. I got in touch with her. She got in touch with me. And we were able to sit out and have an awesome conversation on Thursday. Awesome. I mean, I didn't leave there until like 2 o'clock. And I hope she's true in and I have to believe that she's true in what she's saying that she wants to do and how she wants to work together and make things better for everybody, for Minnesota. It's not just a black-white thing. Just like I told her, what I do, it has nothing to do with the color of somebody's skin. Zero. People always, well, Rev, why do you do this and why do you do that? Tell you what, open up your Bible and I want you to go to John 13 and 35. And I want you to read that. If you want to know why I do what I do, the reason I do the things that I do, and the reason I make sure, you know how a lot of people say, I see no color. Go to John 13 and 35. That explains everything about me. Period, point blank. When I tell you I don't give a damn about a Republican and I don't give a damn about a Democrat, go to John 13 and 35. That's why that stuff don't matter to me. It matters to you. You care about that. It's important to you that you carry water for the Democrats. It's important to you that you carry the water. But ain't nowhere in my Bible does it say that if I'm a Democrat, I'm getting into heaven. If my soul was saved because I was red-pilled. Nowhere in there does it say that. Maybe in your Bible, maybe in your beliefs, maybe in your time going through what you went through, and your salvation was saved by a Republican, by a Democrat. Maybe that's on you, but don't put that on me. But Mary, that I have never said one bad thing about this woman. Decided she needed to chime in and say some bad things about me. Ain't never said nothing about it. This is the first time that I'm mentioning her little Klan meetings that she put together. Ain't never said. I just stopped going because I didn't see any. I don't see any I don't see that Tea Party and what they do and who they are and what Mary got. I don't see it helping the Republican Party in any way, shape, or form here in the state of Minnesota. It's not helping. It's the same people in the echo chamber listening to the same people in the echo chamber. It's not going anywhere. It's not helping nobody. It's not doing anything different. It's not moving the needle. It's not getting people statewide elected. That's not what they're for. That's not what it's there for. It's to get in a place, old people, and bitch and moan about things and make sure that they keep Minnesota as white as they possibly can. That's what they want. That's what Mary's little get-up is about. That's why I left the Tea Party the first time. And that's why I left Mary's little get-up. Now, I'm not telling people not to go. Go. That's what she's got. That's what it's there for. She wants people to come there. But what I'm telling you is you're going to go there and you're going to see the same thing that I saw. It's not advancing in any way, shape, or form anyone in any way, anyhow. It's not. So the Democrats are running around trying to throw all of these gun bills out here, right? Watch this. Let me show you something. Let me see if I can pull it up. Where did it go? So the Democrats are trying to throw all of these gun bills out there. And the funny part about it is I have asked a couple of the Democrats for a meeting. See if I can if I can sit down and we can go over a couple of things when we're talking about these gun bills and what's going on with them and things of that sort. Right? So one of the things that I want to talk to the Democrats about is why are they not going after, I mean, really going after these criminals who somehow are able to get a gun, like this guy here. So there's this guy who's a 48-year-old man from Minneapolis, faced felony charges of intentionally discharging a discharge of a firearm in the community. Said that this dude fired off a gun 5 times in the community. Right? He's a felon. They also got him for 5th-degree drug possession. Let me just read a little bit of his rap sheet here that don't make sense to me. Now, this man here was supposed to be, he's a felon, and he wasn't supposed to be able to have a gun because in 2011, he was convicted of a DWI and 5th-degree possession of drugs, and he had gun charges. But somehow, some way, in 2024, this man he finds a way to get a firearm. How is he getting the firearm? When they took him to the police station, did they investigate the firearm? Matter of fact, this is what they did here. Once he went in, what they got him for is they got him for the drug possession and firing a gun, firing the gun, not the gun itself, but they got him for drug. So they dropped the gun charges and they get him for the drugs. So see you by gun charges, but Mr. Christopher, we don't like that you got one of those big black guns that we call weapons of war. I think it's an AR-15. We don't like that you have that you have never done anything wrong with it. You take it to the range, you go shoot your 3-gun, or you shoot your targets way out there. You're doing everything you're supposed to do, Mr. Christopher, with the gun that we want to take from you, with the guns we want to ban, with the gun we want you to turn in. You're doing everything you're supposed to. But this thug that's in the neighborhood firing that very gun that you're talking about, when we catch him, take him to jail, you know what we're going to do? We're going to drop the charges. Those charges are not important anymore. We're not going to put him in jail for 5 years because he has a gun that he should not have because he's a felon. No. Let's not do something like that. Let's not be smart. But it's easier for me to go after law-abiding citizens who do exactly what's supposed to be done. Hold on. I got another one for you. Hold on. I got another one. Here's another dude, 22-year-old suspect, fatally shot a man and wounded the girlfriend. This is in St. Paul. and wounded her, and she had a three-year-old daughter. Matter of fact, this dude stuck a gun in his victim's face and tried to take. So that's carjacking on top of that too. Number one, he was a felon, right? This dude has been in jail for ever since he was 17 years. He was in and out of jail ever since he was 17 years old. When he was 22 years old, he was brought up on gun charges, and he was brought up on possession of marijuana and possession of cocaine. And they found a gun on him. So he's a felon. Gun charges dropped. In this incident here, gun charges dropped. This is what he said. Officers found 5 spent rifle casings on the living room floor and a black CZ 9mm handgun with a white cabinet next to the identifying card of Pryor. He had a rifle and he had a gun. And he's a felon. And you haven't heard the Democrats talk about people and things like this ever. In any of the committees, have you heard them say, hey, we're going to go after them thugs that's getting these guns and terrorizing the community? You haven't heard them say not one thing about these thugs that are terrorizing the community. Not one. Here's another one. A hit and run crash that killed a 58-year-old woman. Well, when they got this bonehead, 38-year-old man was taken into custody early Friday morning and booked in Ramsey County Law Enforcement Center. When they got him, he also, guess what? Criminal. Guess what he had? A gun. Guess what happens with the gun? Nothing. But they're going to get him on, hold on, criminal vehicular homicide. The Democrats are doing everything they possibly can do, especially this week, to make sure that they criminalize me. Make sure that they criminalize me. Me. And then the criminals, they get off for free. A criminal can get as many guns as he wants. He can walk up and down the street with the guns. A criminal can do whatever they want with a gun, according to the Democrats, because the Democrats are not saying it. The Democrats hadn't said anything about these people. They ain't said anything about these thugs. But someone who has done everything right by the law of Minnesota, everything. I've done everything. I've even registered my guns. The law knows what I got. I don't hide anything. Nothing. I'm not hiding. I store my firearms exactly the way that the Democrats think that we should store them. I've done everything they've asked me to. Excuse me. Everything they've asked me to do. But yet and still, that's not enough. They still want to push it to try to make sure that I am the criminal instead of dealing with the criminals. No, you're the criminal. Because there's nothing that the Democratic Party, when they're sitting there talking about they're fighting for gun this and fighting. Nothing. Same thing with, so they got all of these here nonprofits in Minneapolis talking about fighting gun laws and fighting for gun laws and all this here type of stuff in the black community. They're paying all of these here boneheads all this money. And guess what? Nothing. We got nothing. All that money and we got nothing. All them bills that the Democrats want to write, we got nothing. Nada. Because the white liberal Democrats do not give a flying jacking ass about black folks. They just don't. But because you got people like Mary, who wants to keep the Klan going, that don't want to open the door, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Don't want to open the door. You got people like, y'all know who Tommy Tuberville is? If you don't know who he is, look up that scoundrel piece of crap. You got Republicans like that. Tommy Tuberville. Y'all act like we don't see these people. We do. We do. And then the Negroes that you do get into the Republican Party, especially here in Minnesota, the four Negroes that they got in the Republican Party here, they got to give up everything of who they are. No, you come into the Republican Party in Minnesota and you black, you got to give up your blackness. That's bottom line. That's a fact. That's a fact. So don't tell me something I don't know. Like I said, if I know it, I'm going to say it. That's a fact. Republican Party in the state of Minnesota don't want true black folks. They don't want me. Because I'm going to talk about the things that I see. Period. And Republicans here, they don't want to talk about that. When I met from 12 to 2, I met with Peggy. And the things that I was giving her as being a Republican, she sat there, literally, with her mouth open because she never heard it. You know why? Because she don't come down to the black community. So why I didn't think she would hear it. That's why I told her. That's why I wanted to open that door to her so she can see something different. It's just like, so today, I'm listening to, and I listen to Joe Soucheray and Garage Logic all the time, right? And I'm listening to Joe Soucheray today. And Joe Soucheray said something today that I was like, you don't get it. You don't get it. And I understand why I'm not on there anymore because, again, it's not that Joe and the boys don't want the truth. His audience don't want the truth. So Joe Soucheray says that the furthest you get to, the closest you get to the tallest place with the tallest building, and he had a comment that he was talking about the homeless people. And I was like, that's wrong. I know that's what they want to hear. I know that's what your audience want to hear. But, Joe, that's wrong. If people really cared about the homeless, if people outside of where the tallest buildings, if they cared about, because a lot of those people, homeless people, they're not from Minneapolis. Ding, 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 ding. And y'all know it. Let me clue you in. So, Joe, if people really cared about that, then people from when Elk River wouldn't be kicking their homeless. St. Michael, Zimmerman, Clear Lake, Woodbury, Stillwater, they wouldn't be kicking their homeless out, making their homeless go move down into Minneapolis. You would take care of your homeless there where you're at. If they pitch a tent in a field, then take care of your homeless in the field. Don't kick them out and then make them go down to Minneapolis where they take care of it. No, there is not a lot of money to take care of all those homeless people that's coming from all over Minnesota. They're coming from all over red districts, red areas in Minnesota. Why? Because them red areas are like, forget the Bible. We're not, we call ourselves Christians, but I be damned if I'm going to take care of any homeless. I'm going to be damned if I'm going to take care of any poor. Name me a spot right now outside of St. Paul, outside of Minneapolis, in Maple Grove. Name me a homeless place in Maple Grove. There's homeless people from Maple Grove. Plymouth, Minnesota. Have you ever heard any homeless spots? No. You know why? Because they break up the camps. Because y'all don't want to see, the Christians don't want to see poor people. No, hold on. Let me say that again. Christians, that's what y'all call yourselves. You swear by it. Yeah, you do. I go in your bios all the time, so don't try me. Christians don't want to see homeless people. Christians don't want to see the very people that God says, he says, take care of my poor, take care of my downtrodden. So you know what you do? If you don't see it, you don't have to take care of it. So Joe Shuseray and Garage Logic, the problem isn't the money isn't there. The problem is Minneapolis have to take care of everybody else. So let's say Maple Grove mayor say, you know what, Minneapolis? I'm going to kick in some money for our people. Let's say they kick in some money. Let's say Plymouth kick in some money for their drug addicts that's down there. Let's say Zimmerman, St. Michael. Let's say Elk River. And far beyond that they come into Minneapolis to be homeless. Let's say all of these cities kick in money to take care of the homeless. Then, guess what? There will be enough money to take care of those homeless people. But Joe Shuseray, if you're not going down there and asking, if you're not going down there and dealing with, this is what I'm saying. You can talk about things that you don't see, that you guess on, it could be there. But why don't you go see for yourself? And understand for yourself. Then you don't have to throw those loaded questions out there to give your audience an idea that's just, it's not true. There's so many homeless people all the way around that come from all over. I know. I preached in some of these homeless camps. I feed these homeless people. I give them shoes, shirts, firewood, things to keep their hands warm, water, and some of everything else. So I know for a fact, Joe, there's just not a Minneapolis problem. And it shouldn't be just a Minneapolis problem. because not everybody in that camp, in those camps, are Minneapolis. So, Joe, again, I know your audience don't want to hear from me. They don't want the truth. But if you want to give them the truth, I'm right here. Let me know. But I know, I know, no, bro. I understand. It's not you. You got to keep your dollars coming in, and your audience is who pays your bill, and you got to keep that audience happy. And because they don't care about the truth, don't want the truth, don't want to hear the truth, you can't do that. You can't give them facts. You just got to throw out crap, and they gobble it up, and they're happy to hear exactly what you get them. It's an echo chamber, just like I've been talking about. People don't want to open their minds. People don't want to actually start thinking, really actually thinking. It's easy for me, right, to turn on my radio or turn on my computer and hear some dude telling me things versus me actually going out and researching those things, researching those stuff, and understanding why we're in the situations that we're in sometimes. Why are there so many homeless people right now? Again, all of those people down there in those camps, down there by the railroad tracks, down by the river in St. Paul, right? Over by North Loop, down on 31st and Lindale, down on Lindale and 19th, down there on Lake Street in Chicago. They're not all Minneapolis residents. They're not. But y'all wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that because people who are telling you, people who are giving you certain information don't even know that. They just throwing something out there because they can. They heard something on the news, or they read something in a paper, or somebody told them something on their way by somewhere, and they thought it was a good talking point. So, I'm going to say this. And they know you're not going to research it. They know you're not going to go look it up or try to find out for yourself. They know that. That's why these people can tell you whatever. They can say whatever they want. Whatever they want. They can tell you tomorrow that dinosaurs are walking the face of the earth. And you'll believe it. Why? Because you ain't looking outside. You're here listening to them on a radio or on whatever, and believe it. But that's wrong. And if we're going to talk about the homeless, let's do something for them. Let's help them out. So I was going to bring and I'm going to do this on Monday. And I said, make sure you remind me. What, I got a couple minutes? Make sure you remind me. Okay, so I'm trying to think a way to put this. So therefore, because I know how internet works. Trust me when I say that. Boy, do I know how this thing works. All right, let me explain something to you. Okay, so every month until I get a kidney, and they said I'm on a waiting list, and they said probably about 5 years, right? But as long as I'm on this kidney list, every single month, one time a month, I've got a couple things that I have to do. No ifs, ands, or buts. I have to go see my nephrologist. That's my kidney doctor, the guy who oversees all my stuff, my kidney doctor, right? And then I have to go give labs. So I have to go to the forensic place for sure twice for the medical procedures, right? Not when I go in to get washed or whatever you call it. Anyway, when I first started going there under Joe Biden, it was $200. $71.38. My insurance at the time took care of $150 of that. And then I had to pay, the rest of it. $150 under Joe Biden. And this is why I was going to bring my bill down here, because I wanted you to see it. I wanted you to see it with your own eyes. Because when I tell you, everybody's like, oh, blah, blah, this, and that's not right, and da, 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 da. Under Donald Trump, and I'll show you this, I have to now pay $449.87 for the same doctor that I went and dealt with. My insurance now, after they redid this, recalculated all this, only pays $51.98. I have to pay the rest. And I have to do this every single month. So it's almost like I have a car payment to stay alive because of how bad the insurance has gotten. It's going to hit you. It's going to hit everybody. We're not the only one that it's going to get. So I got that to deal with on top of somebody got mad at me on Facebook because I pointed out the fact that Minneapolis being a sanctuary city has hurt people like myself. Now, if you guys been with me and you've been following my journey, you know that I started off when I first went in to get on the kidney transplant list. We were at Abbott, right? So I had to go through all of those tests, all of that crap at Abbott. I had to do all this type of stuff that was going on. And then Abbott lost funding, right? And so they had to close down their kidney transplant unit, completely close it down. Matter of fact, I was on the news. The news contacted me, and my wife and I was on the news talking about this when we had to move over to HCMC. So everybody from Abbott, the doctors also, everybody moved over there. All right? And what you don't understand is a large part of this stuff, and I know a lot of you guys understand what network is, right? How you got to do things in network. It's the same thing with this kidney thing. I mean, my doctors have to be in. My doctor's not in network. I'm paying thousands of dollars, but they have to be in network. So I'm down to paying, hundreds of dollars instead of thousands, right? So we thinking everything is cool, right? It took me a year. So I was off the transplant list for a whole year because I had to go through all of these tests again. I had to go in to get a biopsy on one of my dead kidneys, which is stupid to me. So one of my dead kidneys had a cyst on it, and they didn't know if it was cancerous or not. So I had to go in. So that set me back because I had to wait for those tests to go in to get the tests. And then I had to wait for that to come back for the board. So there's a board that has to review your medical history and say if you're a good patient for a transplant. So I had to wait for the board. And that took almost a year. And it finally got on the transplant list at HCMC, right? Come to find out, after being on this here transplant list and nobody said anything, guess what? HCMC is running into financial problems. Why? Unpaid bills. People are not paying their bill. So basically, because they want to call themselves a sanctuary city, and all of these people who are down there in these homeless camps, this brings me back to same thing with Joe Shuseray. When these people come from Hopkins and they come from everywhere else, guess what hospital these homeless people are using? Instead of them going back to where they were graduated high school, go back to New Hope, right? Go back to Coon Rapids. Go back to Andover. When you need to go to a doctor, that's not what they do. They go to HCMC. And they get treated, and no one pays the bill. So HCMC is going downhill. These people that the Democrats have literally bust it. Trust me when I say this. These people that the Democratic Party and these churches, see, that's another thing y'all forget to talk about. These churches that literally are bussing in these people and then just dropping them off in the streets. Those people go to HCMC. So, once again, the Democrats is screwing me. A law-abiding citizen. I'm a law-abiding citizen when it comes to guns. Ain't never been in trouble. Ain't never done anything to hurt nobody with my guns or anything. But yet, the Democrats are telling me, guess what? We don't want you to have any guns. They're going after the big black one right now. But if you think that the Democrats are not going to try to find a way to go after just guns, period, you're out your mind. So the Democrats have screwed me there. And then when the Democrats call themselves taking care of everybody, and letting these people go to these hospitals, they screwed me there. Because now, if HCMC shuts down, I am in trouble. Because there's some doctors at Children's that's not in the... Children's will be the only other hospital that I can go to get a transplant. Or I can go down to Rochester, but Rochester's what? A whole hour and something away. And the way they do their setup is if I have an appointment with Rochester on Monday, I have to go down Sunday, stay in a hotel, and then go through all their stuff you have to do down there. So that's going to cost me a lot more money to go to Rochester. But it also going to cost me money to go to Children's because there's some doctors that are not in network with Children's. So I'm screwed. If it's HCMC closed down, I hope I've been praying with my wife and I. We pray that it doesn't happen. But we also got to look at what do we do if that does happen. I can go to Wisconsin and see if I can find a hospital there. But the thing of it is if they call me over in Wisconsin, I've got to be able to get to that hospital within 2 hours. I can go to Wisconsin and get on their list. But then every single month, I have to go to Wisconsin every month once they give me a doctor over there. The people that come to your house and knock on your door and say to you, I need your vote. Listen to me, people. Those people do not work for you. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying here? I'm making this, trying to make this as clear as possibly. They don't work for you. They ask for your vote. You give them your vote because, most of them do say something stupid enough for you to go, ooh, oh my God, you made me tingle. And then you give them your vote. And then they go up there to that Capitol and just start doing asinine things. And then you and I suffer for what they have done. We suffer. But it's crazy. There's a Georgia father who is about to go to jail right now because he bought a gun for his kid, AR-15, and the kid took that AR-15 and went in and he shot up the school. And the dad's going to jail. I've been saying for years, 13, 14, 15-year-old black boy get his hands on a gun. He run around, he shoots and kills somebody, or he sticks a gun in somebody's face. Somebody in that house should be going to jail. You carjack somebody. But I don't blame the parents anymore. I sit back and I look at the very people who we give our votes to. Like we could have, and again, I'll go back and I'll say it again. If you've been with me 2 years ago, one of the things I'd asked the Republicans and the Democrats for a place called Totem Town. If you don't know what Totem Town was, look it up. I tried my best to get somebody in the legislature, somebody at the Capitol work with me to get a place like Totem Town open. If a kid sticks a gun in somebody's face and carjacks them, put the fear of God in somebody's heart, mind, and his soul, and carjacks him brutally, that we've got to put that kid somewhere. They did a story. Remember that story they did? I talked about it myself, where this kid was so bad they couldn't put him in the normal jail, and because of the jail was, they said it was overcrowded, they put him in a hotel in Plymouth. Correct? And they gave him 24-hour supervision. Somebody was with this kid for 24 hours. Then they put an ankle bracelet on him. When his coordinator, when they was changing, the coordinator went into the bathroom and left her keys on the dresser. Remember? This little boy took the keys, got in the car, and left. They had to try to hunt this kid down. I don't know if they ever found him, but they found that little GPS thing that he had cut off. All because they didn't have a place to put this kid. I had been crying for Totem Town for years. We need a Totem Town. We need a place to put these kids. Because some of these kids are at a point of no return. No return. And when they get 18 years old, it's over. Period, point blank. There's no returning. None. True story. Dude went to jail at 16. Swear up and down he didn't commit the crime. Swear up and down he didn't commit the crime. Okay. Finally get him out of jail. Fought for him. Tooth and nail to get him out of jail. 18 years this dude spent in jail. Went in when he was 16. Do the math. 18 years. Get him out. You would think, my head, I wouldn't commit a crime. I wouldn't even jaywalk. I drop a candy wrapper on the sidewalk. Dude, I'm looking for that candy wrapper. I'm looking for it. I am finding it. I am not doing it. You would think that, right? If I spent all of that time in prison, why in the world would I be running around with a firearm? Why in the world would I be running around with dope in my vehicle? Why would I be running around with large sums of cash? There's some that once they get a certain age, doesn't matter what you do for them. Doesn't. So my thought is, let's get them while they're young. When I got a 13-year-old, and I go to the mother's house, and I said, we've got to go to juvenile to get your son. They're going to release him. And the mother literally looks me in the face and say, I don't want him. And I'm sitting there going, but we have to. Somebody's got to go get him. You, grandma, his father, somebody. But we have to go get this kid. And she's like, I'm not. We have no place for kids like that. The mom, the family, and everybody, because he's so bad, they just gave up on him. They're not going to put him in prison. That's not going to happen. Unless he does something really, really bad. So nobody wants him. He's out here on the streets just running around, causing trouble. Penny theft here, petty theft there, petty theft here, petty theft there. But somewhere down the road, somebody's going to lose their lives at this kid's hands. But we don't want to correct that before it happens. We'd rather wait and then throw this here very kid we knew. We knew he was a problem. We knew it. But we won't wait until he turns 18 and do something completely off the fence. And more than likely take somebody innocent taxpayer's life before we do something with this cat. When years ago we knew if we would have put him in the right place, if we would have got him the right help, things would have been different. But that's not what we do. We wait. We give them every opportunity to screw up. And when they do, we pounce. And that's the sad part about how we do each other. Oh, 6 minutes. 6 minutes. You got me 6 minutes. Anyway, fam. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. If you don't get up that early, I'm gonna have to start talking to Don about that. Don's gonna have to, about to say he's gonna have to pay me more. Come to think about it, he don't pay me at all. Anyway, Black News with Don Allen will be on tomorrow at 9:30. We both, you will see it on my page and on his page, also on Facebook. We always talk about any and everything that has to do with black in Minnesota. Well, we talk about some of everything, but it's called Black News. If you're not doing anything, or if you want to catch the replay on that, please, ma'am and sir, do. Again, 9:30 tomorrow morning. We will be up bright and early, talking about something. Don't know what it is yet, but we'll be talking about something. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Hey, you guys have an awesome, awesome weekend, right? And stay out of trouble. Don't do anything that I would not do. Don't have too much fun, but have fun, right? And go love on somebody. I always say, go love on somebody. Love on one another. That'd be awesome to see, right? And like always, and realize and understand as we leave here on tonight, that the God that we serve is a mighty, honest, truly beautiful God. And I can tell you, like I always keep trying to make you guys understand, that I wasn't who I am right now a long time ago. This is a change like you would not believe. And God did that. He brought it all back home to me and made me start understanding that I'm more than even what I thought I could be sometime. And because of that, it always keep a smile on my face. And you all know what we do with those smiles. We go out and we smile at somebody, so somebody smile back at you. Hey, fam, y'all have a good night. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. Peace, and we out.